Monday, April 27th, 1:59 p.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. I'm going to do a top down of the US dollar index, as well as three major currencies in the US dollar. And maybe I'll include the day trade I took. I traded the euro dollar, traded long the euro, took one day trade this morning, made a profit. Happy camper. Small, but happy camper. So we're looking at the daily chart on the currency futures. The far left is the US dollar index. The second from the left is the euro. The third from the left is the Japanese yen. And the last on the far right is the British pound. Daily charts. Current situation is on the dollar, the left. We took out the high and low of Friday. We went up into this gap. Gap has not been filled yet. A lot of whipsaw since Sunday night. First, the euro broke the high of last Friday. So the trend reversed, forming a big wick on the top, showing sellers. Japanese yen also broke the high of last Friday. Same thing, showing a big wick there, rejection. And the British pound, took out the high of last Friday, big wick. So immediately, looking at these three major currencies in the US dollar, massive rejection. Look at those huge wicks. Just because they broke the high of the prior daily candle, it's not sustaining it. Again, the market's not closed yet, but that's interesting. They're showing rejection with a red candle on the dollar. So we're coming into the FOMC this Wednesday. I still have swing trades that are bullish on the US dollar. Let's do a top down the US dollar. And yeah, here on the dollar, you can see the daily chart. A little wick on the bottom, buyer stepping back in there again, which broke above this consolidation. Look at the higher time frame. Go to the monthly first on the dollar. Since we're into the last week of the month. Look at the yellow horizontal line, the high of the year, the low of the year. Tight consolidation. First, last year, when the new executive branch took over the White House, huge sell-off, consolidation. Yeah, so here, it's still reflecting bearish bias, the dollar. But we're way above the lows of 2009. And the weekly, massive consolidation since this point of last year. Already broke that high of that inside candle last week. Again, a lot of chop in these consolidations here. From that point when we gapped down, made that reversal, nice bullish pin bar. Intraday chart, put it on 10 days, a 4-hour intraday. So this big red candle, look how that went. Actually, I'm going to open up further. Change it to 20 days. See if that's enough. There we go. So here near the center, I had labeled that a long time ago. That was a swing high, drew out that red line. Overnight, we broke above it yesterday. And then this big red candle, right here, this big red candle, I labeled midpoint all the way back then. We tested that and rejected it. But we did break above this trend line too. From that point, we went back down to this key level, tested it, pre-market this morning, and nice reversal. The 1-hour chart from the overnight high, pre-market, consolidation, and trend reversed. We filled this imbalance area, and the trend is still going up to another imbalance area maybe. But we also have a swing high here. take it to the 1 minute chart. Go on the 1 minute. It's top left. That was when the Tokyo session opened. We haven't retested that yet. This is when the middle, when the London session opened. We finally broke above that. Pre-market, this was the overnight low, this yellow horizontal line. Zoom in some more. This yellow vertical line, that was when the New York Stock Exchange opened. So I labeled the pre-market high, which was here, the pre-market low. Yep, so for that pre-market high right here, we sold off. Again, going back below the overnight low, which was here. Bought a fake out several times. And then leading into the New York session, that yellow vertical line, the trend reverse broke above the pre-market high. A little higher, consolidation. Yep. So my trade was on the charting the dollar, but trading the euro. So here, 0.843, that was the dollar. I went short the euro. Later on, closed my trade on the euro, which was the inverse, which was bullish from the dollar, and took a profit before we broke the pre-market high. Yep. So again, it changed. The market structure changed from this morning. Let's look at this again. Since overnight, the trend was down. We had that overnight low here. Prior to the New York session opening, this overnight low, we broke below it, maybe convinced people that it was bearish, and then did a lot of shop over here, finally trending up. So thank goodness I closed my trade because the dollar is the leader now. So it's coming off the opening of the New York session. Thank you as always, spending a little time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Colleen, for your support.